Hi, this is Mel from Bangle Whisper. I hope all of you are doing awesome. Today I'm going to do the part 2 of the story about India the Great Now and years back then and my views and observations. So as you know, a lot of things changed in India. Things which used to be there previously were actually very, very good, I would say, since this is my observation. Your observations might be different, but that's okay. This is my observations, and that's what I'm stating here. So, years back then, there were most people used to, especially poor people, used to walk barefoot, so anywhere they went barefoot. Now with this, obviously there were problems. Sometimes they had nails got stuck in their feet and all that, but then there were benefits too, a lot of benefits too. Barefoot walking connects us with the Mother Earth, with the ground, and keeps us grounded, so we don't have so many of these present so-called elements, all kinds of depression, anxiety, and all kinds of things, because by walking barefoot we stay grounded. And now you see someone for a few minutes might take off their shoe and walk in the grass, but years back then most of the kids and most of the middle class or lower middle class or poor people used to walk barefoot all day, all the time. They wore shoes very often when they went somewhere. To suppose somebody has to go to bank or some official building, or somebody has to go somewhere far away, then they wear slippers, flip-flops. Shoes are not that popular there because it's so hot. Maybe winter, or men going to office will wear shoes, but most of the people who are going to grocery shopping or any place, they will all wear flip-flop or sandals and open toe shoes. But those are just for going to specific places, but most of the time in home, around their home, and sometimes even walking to just go getting their letters or to go get something little bit distance, they walk barefoot all day. They stayed barefoot. They're walking in their garden. And most Indians who had houses, they had roof, so the rooftop they will go to put their dry their clothes in clothesline in the rooftop, and then come down and through the stairs, through the steps, all day walking around in big houses barefoot. So this kept them connected with the Mother Earth and kept their health good. And they had back then the letter. Everywhere, every people you want to communicate, you write letter. Now writing is very calming. Writing is very good for our body, our mind. So this writing was a essential part of our life. Everybody had to write. Even I remember as a child waking up first thing in the morning, the days we didn't have school. We didn't have school only on Sunday, because Saturday in India there is school for half day. So those days we had to write. For summer holidays, summer vacation is like 2 months because it gets pretty hot in India. So first thing in the morning, my dad used to say, everybody has to write. Everybody write what you did other day or what you're going to do, something about something. So everybody had to do handwriting. This is called handwriting, to write by your hand and cursive writing. So you have to make your writing look pretty, and this was very calming. And all the housewives and all the people, they wrote letters to their family members, so this was very calming. And then there was the thing about post office. Everybody had to go to post office to get some work done. There are a lot of official work used to be done in post office. Letter you have to mail, and birthday card and all that. Now with the technology, all these things are gone. Now no one writes actual letter by hand, and people hardly goes to the post office or bank. Everything is done online. So going to these places and actually talking to those people, it was very good for people's health and everything. Just walking to those places, walking is one thing good, and then just being able to mix with other people and talk with other people is also very good for physical and mental, for especially for elderly people, especially for retired people. That was their morning chore, to just go to post office and drop their letter, or go to grocery morning. They have just like farmers market. So you can see certain places where the farmers market kind of grocery will sit only from morning 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. because after that it gets very hot. So people go to rushing to the market and gets all their stuff. But on the way they will talk to their friends or neighbors and hi and hello and asking how they're doing. This is the most wonderful thing because it kept them going. There was a sense of belonging, sense of purpose. If you just pass by each other and don't even look at each other and run away from each other, and then the sense of belonging, the sense of connection, that is gone. So people feel very lost, very depressed, very lonely. So these things were really good. But as technology developing, world is changing, things are getting really very hectic and crazier, and so are the people's lives. So there's another change which isn't really for India's best interest, because India was a place where people really cared about each other. Like in a place where people live, like whether it's a colony, whether it's a village, people actually even know what's been cooked in your home for lunch and what's been cooked for dinner. So it was that kind of relationship. So after all the males went to their work, like some office, some went to the field, the female would just, while doing their household chores, by 10, 11 o'clock, they'll take a shower and just get around, go outside and just go visiting couple of their neighbors' house, and outside their neighbor's home just chit chat, just what's going on. Sometimes some neighbor did offer tea, sometimes they didn't, and sometimes people didn't want to drink tea at that time of the day. They just wanted just to know how we're doing. So it was something which kept them going, which kept them connected, where they felt they belonged to somewhere and somebody and something, which is now missing, and people are more lost and more sick, especially the elderly people. The elderly people, especially the people who retired. Now, as the world is becoming more technology, but is all this technology for India's best interest? Before the technology, so much development, Now every woman has a camera on their hand and everybody is a vlogger, everybody is vlogging, everybody is doing something. But before that, they were housewife, they were mother, they were somebody's daughter, they were somebody's daughter-in-law. So they had the time to take care of those people, talk to those people, go out, meet their neighbors. But now all day they are holding a camera in their hand because that gives them an income, right? But the or elderly people who are really old, they feel very left out and lonely because they have no one to talk to, and they don't know Facebook, and they don't know WhatsApp because they cannot learn all these things. They don't, a lot of them don't even know English. And even though these things came with a lot of Indian languages, Hindi, Bengali, all kind of languages, but still there is a older generation, they don't know all this, and they don't want to learn, and they believe they're too old to learn. But the people were in their home before, who were talking to them and paying attention to them, isn't talking to them or paying attention to them because they are after the penny to earn. So they're all day walking around with their cameras and recording themselves, and they have many channels open up, some beauty, some cooking, some others. But one generation felt very lonely, very left out, the older generation. So that's also another big issue. And this loneliness is leading them to depression, anxiety, Alzheimer, all kinds of things because they are very alone. So that's another big issue. And then another big thing was in India, like Indian women, they had a lot of things which was really good for them, like as the country became modern and women became modernized, and they're wearing all the Western clothes and Western things, Western shoes, but at the same time they have forgotten the Indian culture thing, Indian rituals, like Indian, their own culture, to wear their own sindoor, the red dust, onto their parting. They don't wear it anymore because they consider it's backdated, old. But that is not true because that has a lot of health benefits that keeps a woman calm, peaceful, centered, that keeps a woman healthy. And when she wears it, it's a kind of praise for her husband's long, healthy, prosperous life, and it creates a great bond between husband and wife, and it makes them very romantic and sexual. So this is really for women's best interest, and was not only the sindoor on the parting, also the bindi. They used to wear the bindi. So by putting the sindoor and by putting the bindi, there was two uh, chakra system was activated during this ritual of putting bindi and sindoor, which is their chakra for the head region, and their ajna chakra. So these chakra, seventh chakra and the sixth chakra, both these chakras were activated during putting the bindi, and crown chakra and the ajna chakra both were activated that time. So it was very good for keeping the mind calm, serene, and very intelligent thinking, and have a beautiful, peaceful life. So woman got rid of those because modern woman thinks that, oh, we cannot wear those things, those are for old times, but that's not true. So it's not for a woman's best interest, even though they And then the bangles, they would not wear bangles because they think that doesn't go well with Western culture, because Western culture nobody wears bangles. So they wouldn't wear it, but this bangles actually kept them very healthy because it continuously press on their wrist, and in the wrist region they have all the acupressure points for all the female reproductive organs. And also there's the big artery where you see the pulse and respiration, so that artery is also getting pressed and massaged. And also the gene of the bangles, it's very entire body and keeps women healthy and reduces their blood pressure, keep it in the normal range, and keeps them very happy, healthy, strong. Their hands become strong. So as the women became modern, they also got rid of all their jewelries. Like they wouldn't wear earrings. Earrings most important thing, because by wearing earrings they have a good heart, because it works on the heart by putting earring. So there are a lot of acupressure points which works for certain organs, and by wearing jewelry for that organ is actually constant pressure on those acupressure points, and which in return keeps those organs healthy. It is literally impossible for a person to sit all day and massage all their acupressure point. It is just impossible. So that's why all these jewelries were created, so the men and women will wear this jewelry and it will give constant pressure to those acupressure points, and thus it will keep those organs related to those points healthy. So that factor is gone because women choose not to wear those, because that's how they think to be modern by not wearing them. So that is kind of not for their best interest. And another ritual was there is, when women woke up in the morning, first thing in the morning they used to do is take a shower first thing in the morning, and then they used to pray to God for the everybody's health and happiness and prosperity, and then they begin their household work. But now women will wake up and drink their tea and coffee and begin the household work and do the whole day household work in the same nightgown which they were wearing at night time, which is very wrong. Because back then when women will get up, they will shower and they will wear beautiful clothes, mostly cotton, because they were going in near the fire and will be cooking. So they will wear beautiful cotton, whatever, sari, salwar kurta, whatever, but anything which they can just go out with, not nightgown all day. But now you see all the women vlogging all day in their nightgown. They don't bother to do prayer in the morning or take a shower or change their clothes, and they will be doing that, wearing the nightgown for a whole day until evening comes, and their husband will be coming home and they'll say, oh, I'm not still done with my editing, I still has to edit. So what kind of society it created, where women actually forgot what they're supposed to do, what kept them healthy, what kept their family good and healthy. Back then, a woman's primary job was to take care of her family and her kids, because her kids were very precious. In India, a mother's job was to make sure that her kids got proper upbringing and they learn the things properly and they learn how to respect their parents and all these things and do prayer, meditation, pujas. Nowadays, those things are not there because women don't have time to spend the time with their children. They will think, oh, I would rather vlog that time so I can make money. So those things are not there anymore, and most of the teaching to the children went to the computers. So children learning, their primary teacher is Alexa or Google. So they learn from that. They have any question, they will ask Alexa or Google to give the answer. But years ago, there were books and people would read books. But as you see now, the books are sort of becoming thing of the past. Now, books are not only just books you read it. Books had a lot of things. When people had their books, which is going to be taught in the school, they will put beautiful, colorful cover in their books. And there was this beautiful relationship started with the book and a person. They put a cover on the books and they will sit down and nicely in the chair table or in the floor and read their books, and they just peacefully read their books. So it was such a wonderful time spent with the person and a book. Reading a book is very amazing. But with the technology, they are glued onto that screen 24 hours. They read paper on the screen, they work on the screen, then they are on the social media in the screen. So it's all nothing but blue screen all day. And in return, what they have received, tremendous amount of headache and problem with their eyesight, problem with their back and neck and head, everything. And then the writing is gone, so nobody can write, and writing was very therapeutic. So that therapeutic benefit is gone too. So as technology taking away every part of our life, so our life is also affected because as it's changing, it's not all the time changing for the best, because there are many benefits for the things that once Indian people did, like working in the farm. Even working in the farm, they used to be everything manually, but manually working also had its benefits. Farmers were the most strongest people and they lived the longest. They stayed whole day under the sun, they worked in their field, and most of them did not have any shoes and they worked under the sun. They did not have any sun protection or all that thing. They never heard of such thing. So they worked under the sun and then they ate 2 meals a day. It's just all natural rice, vegetables, fish, which they caught in their own. They grew the vegetable in their own land. They had the fish in their own river or pond, and everything was their own and fresh. And they ate 2 times a day, and as soon as it was dark, they went to sleep. There was no gadgets to stay up all day and stare at the screen and go to bed at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. like the people now do. Most Indian women, men, most of them, all the other cultures as well, go to bed 3, 4 a.m. staring at that screen whole day, whole night. But it wasn't like that. Even women In the evening, after they drank their tea, they went to the roof, and rooftop, they had rooftop garden. If you didn't have a backyard with space to do gardening, had rooftop garden. In the rooftop garden they had most beautiful flowers. And in the evening, people would sit in the rooftop with on the ground with putting a mat, and they had this mat made out of a special stick, and they sometimes slept on the rooftop. They sat on there, so they had beautiful flowers like rose, jasmine, and this kind of flowers. And there this another flower called Rajnigandha, which gives beautiful smell at night time, fragrance smell, amazing smell. So they will have all these plants in their rooftop, and the woman would work on keeping those plants healthy in the evening. And working on those plants is very calming, digging the soil, picking up the stones one by one, just picking up those stones and making those soils look good, and adding things like tea leaves, eggshells, banana peels, this kind of thing, and kept the plant very healthy. And the woman also felt very happy and healthy by working with those plants, working with those flower plants. And if they had little bit field in the back or space, they would have grown vegetables. So evening they will work on that. And then the elderly ladies had such a wonderful life that time, because in the evening there were always like son's wife, or if the elderly lady had a daughter, they would make some tea or coffee, usually tea they drink, they don't drink coffee that much, and they will bring some sort of, they will sit all together, they'll make some sort of snack, and they'll sit all together and eat and talk about their family problems or whatever. And this kept the elderly people going, because it entertained them and made them feel like they belong somewhere, made them feel valuable. But now, even a country like India has now retirement home, and people are putting their parents in the retirement home, because all the people have become so busy and so selfish, so they don't want to take care of their aging parents became burden for them. And they also don't want to take care of their kids, they just leave the kids on the mercy of the school. But if there's no school, let the kids watch TV all day, so they don't have to do anything. So not necessarily all the development was for the best interest of the people, and the people have to think, is it for my best interest or is it not for my best interest? Because there are a lot of things there which Indians could do and stay happy and healthy. They have all the seeds, all the land, they can grow their own food and get all the family together and involved in taking care of gardens and growing food, and just live in a society where everybody can be there for each other, help out each other, and just work together as a team, because this is a teamwork. So that way everybody feel like they belong somewhere, and they have support system. And also the elderly people in the family also don't feel left out, they also feel like they still have a reason to go on and live. So these things were very good. in India, but now they're fading and going away. And this, I guess, it's not so much who's responsible, who's to blame. It's so much people need to start realizing and thinking. And also, the women had lot of talents before, which also going away. Like they had talent of knitting. They would knit so many sweaters in a year, and they could do so much embroidery, hand stitching, hand knitting, putting buttons in their clothes or mending their clothes. So this was the thing, a chore thing in the evening after they had their evening tea, and do this with their family, friends, and neighbors sitting in the neighborhood. Everybody would just come and sit in their front yard on the cot, this cot made out of thread, and they will just chit chat sitting in their own cot from little farther away. Houses are very close though, and just chit chat while they getting their um, stove ready outside. And these stoves, the cooking stoves, were been another story. Cooking stoves were so good before all this gas and everything. Cooking, the India had so much coal, so they used to cook with the coal. And also everybody used to have cow in their home, and they used to use the cow's milk to drink actual milk without poisons and toxins and chemicals. This is actual cow's milk. They used to milk the cow, and everybody in the family drank a cup of milk, especially the children. And as they had cows, so the cow had that cow dung, and they used to use the cow dung to make circle things. It's like looking like a bread, but they don't eat those are for use it instead of coal. They will just use it for their fire cooking, and they will use the stove outside the home with woods and sticks and coals and cow dung, and they will start the fire outside in a small stove, their own self-made stove, and then they will cook their food outside. Now it had all of benefits, because cooking in the coal, the charcoal, has its own benefit for our teeth, for our health. And the cow dung is believed there a very religious thing and very healthy thing, because simply because, see, the cows live on grass. Cows were not fed. Indian cows were actually very skinny cows. They are not big fat gigantic cows. Those time they did not have this hormone injection and all those things for cows. So cows just ate grass, and then they just pooped, and the people used the poop, dried it up, and used it for cooking. They use it as uh, energy, source of energy. These things, they will make little balls with coal, grounded up coal, cow dung and ground, and they will dry it in sun, very sunny place. And then these balls they will use to start a fire, and they will cook on that stove which they handmade. And this cooking used to be done outside the home. So entire cooking thing was free because there was no gas involved. But after that the gas came, and now they have to order gas, and they have to stay in the line. When their number comes, gas will come, and they cook in the gas. And after, the way they cook, they make bread, and they will put it on the stove. So they're putting the bread on top of the gas oven, where they're ingesting some of the gas, because of the bread gets puffed up, and then they eat the bread. So they're ingesting actually some of that gas, and that in return gives them a lot of pain in their body. So cooking on those handmade stove was really good for them. And it was not just cooking, everybody start the stove in the evening and morning. Two times they used to do it. Morning they'll start it, so you could see from everybody's backyard those smoke coming out. The sky was full of those smoke from starting up those cooking stove, handmade cooking stove. And then in the evening they do the same thing around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then they cook the meal outside in 2 hours, and then everybody goes inside. But the 2 hours they stay outside, they socialize with neighbor while cooking or starting their fire, talk to each other while working, and that was very very lonely, depressed, because everybody is alone now. So, and then the families used to be long time ago joint family. Everybody lived together, all the brothers and brothers' wives, they try to get along with each other. But as people's mind been poisoned with the thing called, what is it called, ambition. So with the thing called ambition, their mind been poisoned, so now they want to go far away from home and just start their own life far away. But that broke up the family. See, when the families were together, there's more strength in the family because there's unity, between a lot of family members. So one person got sick, others took care, and it's always good to be with your big family so people can take care of each other and no one gets lonely. And also elderly people will have a place to live and others will take care of them, and they won't feel so alone or left out or somewhere in nursing home dying before that time. So this joint family was also good and they were happy together, but then that got broken up into small families with just husband, wife and one kid. Even that got broken up now. Even the kids are even going far away. Even the single kids now, everybody has one single kid. Even that single kid going far away. And it's all because of one devil, which is the ambition. Before they had big farms, all the children will work together and get more food, more fruits, more vegetable, eat healthy and be happy. And at the evening they'll just sing sitting in the porch and old people will sit down and listen. And this is such a beautiful thing because family was together, and now everybody is lonely, so lonely. And when their only children goes away, they just have no purpose. What is the purpose? So a lot of the things which was really good before is going away, and people need to start thinking that what is it we are losing in the process of getting something? Is the loss is greater than the gain? And then they will realize that yeah, it might be greater than the gain. And then there were Music. Music was an essential part in Indian culture. So, men after work they got together with their friends and they'll go to their friend's house one day in each people's house, and they will sing or they will play cards for a little while, maybe a Friday night or a Saturday night, not every day, because after work they came home and they have to sit down and teach their kids. And then one day a week they got together with their friends. Women the same way. Women didn't have a specific time to get together with their friends, but they would just get together while they're cooking or cleaning just outside, and their friends were usually their neighbors. So when the neighbor is also cooking outside and the lady of the house is cooking outside too, and they just talk with each other while they're cooking. But in the evening, this music, it was a very essential part. See, in the evening, all the girls and the wives in the family will take out their musical instrument, which is called setar and harmonium and tabla. And tablas are the drums. So all those things they will take it out and they will play those things, and entire family will get involved, and the elderly people just sit and watch, and that worked as TV, and that is 1,000,000 times better than TV because the entire family enjoyed. And singing has lot of health benefits. It keeps the head good, the mind good, body good, lot of benefits. Lowers blood pressure, lowers sugar, and makes the body feel good. And feeling good has great benefit on our health. So the singing ritual in the evening was amazing, and that is gone because now people just go to work. Young girls go to school, come back, and they are hooked onto the computer or anything else, just doing their homework, listening to Western music or something, but they don't do singing themselves. Singing themselves was very good thing, a very good ritual for the entire house. And then another was very good ritual. Evening around 6 or 7 o'clock, they used to go to temple, and the temple they had evening prayer ceremony, so they will have the bells and the banging of these bells and the plates, and they used to make special kind of sound. And what is this sound did is invited positive energy throughout the body and got rid of all the negativity and negative energy. They had this special bell, jingling that bell while they did the prayer ceremony, and they use like sage, Palo Santo, this kind of thing. And so they use incense sticks and the prayer ceremonies. It was another amazing thing which happened in the evening, and all the people went to the temple and they got together, they sat together and they sang God's prayer song, and it was just for an hour. So it started like as soon as it got dark, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then it ended within an hour. Then people, the temples provide some sweet things called prasadi, and people took it home with them while chatting with their neighbors. And this also they used to do barefoot because nobody went to temple with shoes. Whoever went, they had to put the shoes outside, and people didn't want to do that because shoes most of the times got stolen. So they just went barefoot walking, came back barefoot. It was much easier to do than dealing with shoes getting stolen, because shoes were expensive and they were just to go outside far away. So that was another amazing thing which went away. And another amazing thing was there years back before, see, people didn't have that much water. The water used to come certain time, like in the morning 2-3 hours, and evening 2-3 hours. Now, yes, obviously there were problem for water, but because the water came morning 2-3 hours, all the family member will just take their shower quickly in the morning, and all the female will gather the water. So by the process of gathering water, they will go to a special watering place where they had the water from the faucet coming out, and this is the water from the city, and it's supposed to be clean drinking water. Beside that, they had water in their own pond or river, whatever they live next to. But this city water they used to boil and drink. So they would take their big vessel and pails to get water, buckets, whatever they had, to bring water. See, in India, people didn't really carry so much water in plastic buckets or containers, stuff like that. They carried their water in copper vessels or tin vessels, things like that, metal vessels basically. So they carried the water. In the process of taking the water, they had a lot of chit chat with neighbors. Sometimes the women had fights too over water. So they used to say, "Oh, there's cat fight going on near the watering place where they get water." So, but then most of the times they would chit chat with each other and talk while going, while coming. So this was very entertaining, and they got their physical exercise. So this was very good. Anytime they got together with neighbors, friends, and family, that was good. And then the neighborhood people's wedding, that was another amazing thing. When the wedding will happen, the loudspeaker for the music will go on for 2-3 days, and the music will be all day, all the time. And actually, now the people go to church so they actually liked it because the songs were really good. Songs were very soothing and nice and melodious. Now that recently we lost the legendary Lata Mangeshkar, one and only, and her songs were just so amazing. But she was not the only one. Asa Bhosle and many there, Mukesh, Mohammad Rafi, their songs were so amazing. Not only the voice, the lyrics, the meaning. So these songs will go on for days and nights during wedding, and the songs will be going on loudspeakers so you could hear it from far away. But people didn't mind. They just sang the song, they memorized the song, and they knew that their neighbor's son or daughter getting married, and they were all very being invited. So they will go there and enjoy, and it's such a joyous moment, and everybody getting together, eating together, laughing together, children are playing, and there's just unity in the family, unity in a certain region, certain complex, or certain um, a little town or village or colony, whatever it is. But there's amazing unity during celebration, prayers, marriage, any kind of event happening. There's a lot of unity, which is also diminishing now as people are running away from each other. They don't even talk to each other. They see another person and they say, "Wow, a human, run." So that's making the people very sad and depressed in return because they're losing all those connections. Those connections are very important with each other. So presently, with all the things going on in India, people are really suffering, and mainly the elderly people are very lonely and depressed and sad. So this was a little video about my second part, and I will work on the third part, and someday I'll come up with the third part as well. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share, and I'll see you with many more. Thank you. Good night. Sweet dreams.